I kind of want to know, like, why did you choose to go so long without seeing me? Or why was it always about your relationship with my mom and not your relationship with me? Why was I not important enough?
I'm choosing to let go of those areas where you failed me and you hurt me, and choosing to like now see you as an adult through an adult lens of like, I'm not going to hold you hostage to how you let me down.
I don't even use Febreze in my house.
I can tell.
That's
He
crazy.
said, and it shows, and it shows. If my mom's watching this, I'm sorry.
You ready? Let's get it. Absolutely not. That's oh boy.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of That's How You Feel. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Levi. This is our other host, the one and only Caleb Anthony. And we would like to also welcome back Miss Mikaela, who is joining us today.
I wanted to say I was a host. And I'm also a host here on the podcast.
Caleb hasn't approved
This
that.
is my fourth time back.
Nah, just do like
And then they already invited me for my next episode.
do me a favor.
So
I'm afraid that like the bill of your hat is like shadowing your eyes.
Yeah.
Right here. So like you may have to like
Can you tilt it up?
tilt
honey?
it back.
guys, if I look like a weirdo, my brother will let me know.
You look great. I'm just saying.
I'm saying like if it's too high on the top of my head.
No. It's not. It's
Oh, no.
It's
It's just
you
literally
look
the
nice.
shadow was like right
I'm
here.
afraid that the light is not like hitting you well.
Okay. Is this better?
That's perfect.
Oh, yeah, that's-
Don't move.
Do I look like I have
Don't
a big
look
forehead?
at me. I'm kidding. No, you
No.
look great.
Don't look to the left.
Anyway.
To the left, to the left.
Stay straight.
I thought he was going to start
Everything we
singing it.
own in the box to the left.
In my closet. No, in your closet. That's my stuff. Yes, if I bought it. Please don't touch, don't touch. Keep talking that messed up time. I can talk at the same time now.
I don't actually know the words. I'm so annoyed. This is why we need to co-host.
She's trying to cut you out. Talk about
I am
fake
such
friends.
a fake friend. That's crazy. If you didn't watch last episode,
Right.
go
yeah.
watch it.
So as always, thanks for watching, guys. We
Yes.
appreciate you guys.
Like, comment, subscribe. We're so happy to have you guys here back with us today.
What's your thoughts, Caleb? How you feeling?
I hope that water bottle does that thing again.
Oh yeah, we missed it off camera. Yeah. Hey, we got some comments you want to read?
Yeah. Thank you.
He's be our guest on this episode.
I'm so sick. I want to go home. So we had a late comment from one of our very first episodes from Mr. Joel Sapp.
Woo!
He was talking about the episode Joel came on, talking about the aftermath of losing a loved one.
Yep.
Joel commented, y'all's interaction is so easy to watch. Some of my favorite people mentioned in this one for sure. Thank you, Joel.
Yeah,
for
thank you.
commenting.
Joel and the whole Sapp family is awesome. So
Love the Sapp family. Another comment comes from Mr. Jared Prindle. From Side Hustles, Boy Bands, and Falling Asleep at Funerals. The second episode. Jared is new to the podcast, so he went back to like episode 1 and started watching and commenting them
I love
all.
this
And
comment,
Jared
though.
has to say this. Caleb seems like the type of guy who eats a Kit Kat sideways.
but I kind of see it.
I'm mad that you laughed at that.
I mean, watch out, Jared. I'm not a fake friend.
That's crazy.
I really do like that. That just fits. That's crazy. Okay, go ahead.
Look here, guest. Can you stay over there?
Let's get this guest over here.
Stay in your lane.
You stay in your lane.
I love how
I'm in
people
my
are fighting to have a
lane.
podcast with me.
Hey,
It's not
Shut
about
up.
you, Levi. All right, here's the new plan. Levi's out.
I would expect that.
He said only people have always turned their backs on me. I'm just so sad.
I have so much trauma about it.
We're
See what I did
we're
there?
gonna unpack that here.
Good. We actually have. What's the next comment?
How do you eat a Kit Kat? Do you break off
That's
each one
crazy.
now?
The one
Yeah.
off the side of your mouth is wild. That's animalistic.
Do you eat it sideways?
Okay.
Well, that's
That's what
crazy.
makes it even-
That is really crazy for real.
Yeah.
That's really like wild behavior. Wild
So no,
thornberries.
I don't eat a Kit Kat sideways. But one time I was buying a Kit Kat and I opened it up and I was about to like, you know how you break it off and like, you know, the jingle or whatever. But I was like, what am I doing here? And I just bit into it and it was the best bite ever.
So you did it from the side?
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I ate.
Who was that? Jared?
Jared Prindle said that.
And he was right.
Well, and here's the thing. I'm a whole hypocrite because there's sometimes I'll eat food funky.
That's wild.
It is wild.
Not wild.
But like with Kit
Crazy.
Kats,
That's crazy.
sometimes I'll eat the chocolate off the sides and then eat the wafers. That's very rare. But also like with chicken nuggets, especially McDonald's.
Don't say it. You eat the breading off first.
So, there are sometimes I will.
What's wrong with you?
I shouldn't have said that. What's the next comment?
Anyway.
I should have revealed that.
So
You're safe
we
here,
were.
okay?
Thank you.
If you're just tuning in, Mikaela joined us on the Dating Horror Stories episode, and this comment comes from Miss Taylor. I want to say Dykeman, but I don't know how to pronounce her name, so I'm gonna say Dykeman.
I think that's correct.
I hope it is. The way this podcast was the main character on the bus at capacity.
That made my whole day.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
actually really great. And they
Yeah.
were watching it on
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
Well,
Too bad they
people-
weren't all streaming on their own phones, right?
I hope so. Boosting our views.
Right,
That's
I'm
right.
saying.
That
Hey.
was our most watched episode yet.
Yo, like that episode is like really climbing, and that is the only reason why Mikaela is back.
That's
It's because
crazy.
we're
That's
basically
crazy.
giving the people what they want. Like
They
were
want me
like,
back. Bring back that beautiful light skin. No, I'm just kidding.
Julia's gonna have a That's Crazy count.
And then it's like gonna be just like me as when I come in as a co-host. It can't be a co-host.
This is the interview
It's
process.
a try. Doesn't
Yeah,
co
we'll
mean
see.
two?
So the other comment comes from Hannah Ann. She's just
So
her
this,
sharing. The
this
podcast.
is one I wanted to shout out. So Hannah, she's
never mind.
fellow friend, coworker. She shared one of our reels from our podcast, and she had let her friends say, "Hey, check out this podcast, my friend's podcast. Such a great show." I just want to say thank you, Hannah. I also want to give her a shout out because she's actually a podcaster as well. Taking Back Sunday is the name of her podcast, and so. If
then
you
the
would
thing-
like to check it out, really great content. Her and her friend Bianca do it, and they are actually posting on TikTok and stuff too now. So, she's really sweet. So just check them out, and I just want to say thank you for the support, Hannah.
Appreciate you, Hannah. All right. I think we need to do a thing. I want more work for you, Julia. I want a thing. Like I want a graphic or a sound effect for like the question of the day segment. I want a thing.
Question of the day.
No. I'm quitting this podcast. This is probably my last one. Michaela's going to be sitting right here next week.
Yep.
Because I can't.
Fake Friends Part 2.
I'm going to be a guest next time because Levi. Steam room or sauna? That's the question. Steam room or sauna?
What's the difference?
A steam room is wet. A sauna is dry.
I don't think I've ever been in a steam room.
I have. I actually like the steam room better.
I feel like it'd be better for
it feels like you like it. Yeah, it feels more like an exfoliating.
and like decongestant type thing. I feel like.
Yeah, like it just like shh. But I will
thought
say
I thought you
feels
were a
little-
sauna person.
I have been to saunas and that's like the gym, like regular, but I enjoy a good steam room.
Can you explain the benefit of saunas to me? I know like it helps like.
Something about like red light and the wood and the.
Is there
So-
red light in the saunas?
No, maybe that's a
Steam
different
room and
thing.
saunas are basically they open up your pores and they're very cleansing for you, like for your body. They're good with like muscle relaxation. There's a lot of benefits to either one, doesn't matter. And honestly, it's just your personal preference. I prefer a wet heat. I love a steam room.
Yeah.
Love a
I
steam
want to
room.
try.
That's
a
what I'm
steam-
saying. Like the hot,
I can't breathe
the-
in a sauna.
I'm saying
Yeah.
it's just like hot,
Like
stale
like
air.
I've tried to like tough. I'm just
like your nostrils are drying
I
out.
can't take in air.
Me and Julia were in Branson on a trip. She's gonna hate that I mentioned this. We went. So our kids were with us and my mom, and so they were watching the kids. So we went to the pool, and then they had a sauna there. So we're like, hey, let's go to the sauna. So we finally found it. It was a small little sauna. You had to like turn it on and everything, but no one was in there. And so we were just talking, and then I turned on our wedding song, and we started dancing in the sauna, like slow dancing. And anyways, the sauna turned off, but it made this loud noise as if the door was opening. We almost jumped through the ceiling thinking someone was walking in us dancing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's really not that good of a story, but it is in my IMO.
Yeah, I mean, hey, yeah.
Julia likes the story.
Oh, yeah.
That's why she's your
You
wife.
can cut that.
Don't cut none of that out. Let them sit in that moment.
Go on next question of the day.
All right. So other than like Messenger, because we're all team Android or iPhone. Forgive me, Jesus.
He said we were
My
about
heart
the
palpitated
Android.
a little bit.
Other than Messenger, what's your preference? Like, what's your message preference? Like, do you like Facebook Messenger, IG, DMs, TikTok, WhatsApp?
Who uses WhatsApp?
People who
I hear
are
it's big in
foreign
Europe.
exchange.
It's big. It's big.
Is
It's
it?
big in like
China?
Europe
Okay.
and China.
I was gonna say
But like
we're huge in Tokyo.
After iMessage, where are the most of your like DMs coming from? Like the most of your like messages.
Instagram.
I mean, I feel like I get a lot through Facebook Messenger, but I'm terrible at Facebook
Responding.
Messenger.
I'm also with IG because
Yeah.
you messaged me on Facebook.
I do.
and I gotta
I'm
be honest,
trying
I
to.
hate it.
I'm trying to make this.
I hate
just
it so
The
much.
inconvenience of his
I
message.
was-
I
I gotta
understand.
go over to
I was on
Messenger.
Instagram like heavy for a little bit, and then I just got
Heavy.
used Facebook for so long that I've
Mm-hmm.
just gotten used to it, and I'm trying to be better about converting to Instagram because it is the more popular.
It is.
But I also need to adjust my like friends and followers on there because like you always get those random requests.
You got to start muting. Oh, random requests. I was gonna say like I've started muting people. Like I'll add you,
Oh.
but like I don't really care to see your life, so I'm just gonna like mute your story and mute your posts.
Yeah, yeah.
And mute
You
your
can
notes.
unfollow on Facebook.
Well, I'm talking about on Instagram.
Yes,
I don't
ma'am.
know. I don't know.
I was just trying to relate in my world.
Nah, that's funny.
Join us in this century, okay?
I know.
Hey, you know what I hate though? I hate like if I post something on like, because I post on like my Instagram stories a lot. I'll post like a poll or something, and people who respond to me on Facebook Messenger, that makes me so mad. Like, especially
I did it
like,
today.
You did. Stop it. Like, and like I'll do like a poll on Instagram, and then people will message me on Facebook the answer to the poll. I'm
I
like,
used to do that, and then I realized go to Instagram, Levi.
take your behind to Instagram and just tap the answer. You don't have to.
I also hate because they're
ignore
owned by the
those.
same company that the polls don't cross-platform.
They used to be able to.
Well, it's dumb that they don't anymore, and you
Yeah.
can't put a poll on Facebook.
Stop using Facebook.
I know that's why.
Stop messaging me on Facebook. Just cut it out because
You
it
should
makes me
delete
not
your
like you a
Facebook.
little bit.
But I do understand it's an inconvenience.
I like my.
And then you know what's really annoying is when your friend's like, "Can you go check your Facebook Messenger?" Like, what are you doing on here? Why did
Don't
you
you
pop
ask
up
me
here?
to do that?
Also, I never look at TikTok messages hardly, unless like you send me something. But like if people are messaging me, it takes me a while to respond.
You send me like a TikTok almost every day.
And I watch them when you send them, but you never watch my TikTok, so it doesn't matter.
Here's the thing, like, so with Instagram Reels,
Talk
Facebook
about
Reels,
fake
all
friends.
those things, like in TikTok messages, like, so I get the notification that you sent me something, and I open my phone and I see, oh, they sent me a video. And then I put my phone down, like, I'm gonna go look at that later, and I never wind up doing it. But it shows he saw that, like,
I
he
know, and I
shows
send you some
seen.
funny stuff.
All right, so the next question is, this is inspired by my nemesis friend Joel. If
His friend is
if somebody starts to tell you a story that they've told you before,
immediately I say, "You've told me this story before."
I don't.
I was gonna say, would you tell them? Would
Nope.
you interrupt them and tell?
Immediately. Oh wow! Like, hey, like you told me this story.
You know how amazing our producer is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to put that out there. She does this to me a lot, but I will. Half the time, I don't let her know she's told me. But there'll be times I'll listen because sometimes they're really excited to tell that story, and let them tell that story.
Yeah, let
no.
me get that off.
I don't
Yeah.
have it in me to listen.
Okay, but what if like I've told you a story and then
It's
Oh,
with
if you're gonna
love.
tell
But, like,
somebody else, I will
but
allow
then
it.
you've been there. Okay.
Yeah, I will allow it. I'm not that person. I've had people be like that to me. Like, can you stop talking about that time when you went to such and such?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, but they haven't heard it.
Yeah, that's right.
But they don't. But so they also.
But you're
don't
telling
say-
me specifically, like, you've got my captive attention and you like want to repeat yourself again. Like, I've heard that story. Remember you told me that?
If someone has told me like more than like multiple
I try to tell
times,
them quickly too, so like
then
don't get too far in.
Yeah, if they'll say like, I don't know if I've told you this.
If
before.
my mom's watching this, I'm sorry. My mom's watching this. She probably is
Yeah,
like,
'cause,
she is
first
the
of all-
rudest daughter in the world. She's the main like culprit I can think of off the top
Parents
of
be
my
the
head.
main one retelling the story.
I'm
You
like,
think so-
hey, oh, no.
Not at Thanksgiving, Mom.
No, I'm just like, just stop right there. Don't go further. You've already told me the story.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
she's
that's yeah. I will.
She gets so disappointed too, but I don't feel bad at all.
Oh man,
I'm sorry, Mom. I love you.
I think you've may cause some trauma to your mom.
No, she's good.
she's gonna be
She
like, I
knows
ain't
I'm
never
rude.
telling her another story again.
She knows I'm rude.
That's crazy. I hate my life.
She loves
right
me
now.
too.
Oh my gosh. I had just a thought. I hate TJ Maxx,
You try
Marshalls, Ross. I hate them all. I hate those stores so much, and I just wanted to get that off my
Marshalls
chest.
too, huh?
I hate them.
Oh, I was gonna agree on Marshalls.
Oh, you.
They're
don't
all
like
the
Marshalls.
same.
Yeah, I don't think Marshalls did. I think they're the
What
weakest.
about Home Goods?
TJ Maxx and Home Goods. Is the same. I hate those
No,
stores.
Home Goods is my favorite.
Why do you hate them?
Because here's the thing: when I'm shopping, when I decide I need to shop, when it's time for me to shop, and I shop very specifically, so I'm like, I need a black shirt, and those stores are not the stores to go to
Correct.
when you want a black shirt.
They're not the
You
stores
can't
for men
like,
clothing.
You gotta
either.
just be able to like meander in those stores, and I hate.
Yeah. You're
I will
right. You have
say-
to look through the racks. You have to like see, but that's why I don't go there for clothes. Typically, I'll go for like things that are, falling off the truck or something.
Well, and I go to like Home Goods and that stuff for home
Candles.
stuff.
I like candles.
But a lot of
Really like candles?
I love candles.
What's your favorite scent?
I really like the man scents.
Teak wood.
Yeah.
mahogany teakwood.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
That's my favorite scent in the world.
it's
They
good.
have good candles, the soy candles specifically.
Yeah, because they don't do that
Can I
black
tell you about
thing.
mahogany teak
But
wood
they're
for a
so
Hold
second?
on,
good.
real quick.
Okay,
Come
go
back to
ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
So a lot of women I know love shopping at Ross and like
I hate
those
Ross.
places. My wife specifically, it's her favorite place to shop.
Clothes just fall right apart. Just
do
rip
they?
at the seams.
Some of them. Well, but for me, I think the clothing like department in those stores for men are terrible.
Oh,
absolutely terrible. And I will never go there for clothes or shoes.
Okay, I get that. Okay, if you're going for like knickknacks and menagerie, I'm all for it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I found some. Cool
And that's
stuff
why I
out
love
there.
specifically Home Goods because every season they always have something, and then they also have like the food, like this like cool food stuff, and you know,
Yeah,
always get a
but
good
ain't
deal.
nothing in those stores you need.
Oh yes, there is.
What? Home Goods?
Ain't nothing. Stop it.
We gonna
There
take
ain't
we gonna
nothing-
take a
I
that's
need
how
a
you feel trip to
candle.
Home
There
Goods.
ain't nothing. No, stop it. You don't need a candle. There ain't
Okay,
nothing in
there's
those
like
stores you
utensils.
need.
Like if you're like gonna refurnish,
I feel like the candles are expensive
I furnished a lot of my
Yes.
like apartment stuff through.
All right, whatever. That's how I feel about it.
We're gonna. You missed what I said, but we're gonna take a that's how you feel trip to Home Goods.
Bet. Let's go.
Caleb's
I'm
gonna
all
be
for
like
it.
trash.
I feel like I should be a part of that episode.
I'm not laughing because it's just funny. I gotta discuss this with Caleb off camera. I got chastised last time.
Nah, we
wanted
nah,
to
we
include
can
me
have,
immediately.
She can come to the episode. But so about your mahogany teakwood scent, like your man scents or whatever. I was in Bath and Body Works one time, and I'm not reading like what the name of the candle is. I'm just picking it up and smelling like, 'cause I don't care. I'm killing time, and I pick one up. And I'm like, oh, that is beautiful. What is that? Mahogany teakwood. I'm like, okay, cool. And I just go about my day, and like I go to like the car and I pick one up. I'm like, oh, that's what is that? Mahogany teakwood. Okay. And then I go to like the body mist things, and I'm spraying them in the head. I'm like, finally, I'm like, oh, that is heaven. Mahogany teak.
Is this a Bath and Body
guy!
Works?
Bro, Bath and Body Works. I ordered like the set of like mahogany teakwood.
Like
That
the
is
bath
fa-
set and everything.
Oh my god, that's my
Alright.
favorite scent in
good
the
to
world.
know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Mahogany teakwood. It will
like
set
the
you
candle.
off, send you to a place.
I have a little bitty like cologne.
Mahogany
a
teakwood
little-
and Diet Cherry Coke.
I mean, I'm a simple dude, but like, yeah,
Send it in.
yeah. Hey, if y'all want to give me something, hey, send me mahogany
Mahogany
teakwood.
teakwood.
Listen, my favorite scent is a new Kia Sorento.
You stupid. You could have said the campfire Febreze stuff.
Oh, cozy Febreze. If you want to send me
No,
the ingredients,
Say to your followers,
The
not
ingredients
Febreze.
is wild.
well, because I want to know the specific. Because I can't find another scent like it. But Cozy Campfire by Febreze, seductive.
I don't understand that at all.
I don't even use Febreze in my house. I used
can
to.
tell.
That's
He
crazy.
said, and it shows, and it shows.
I'm kidding. No, your house always smells good.
You know what?
Talk about giving people drama.
Wow. I have cats, and like one of the best compliments that people give me is they say, your house does not smell like it has cats, and I'm like, thank you.
It's true.
Because I got some people that I go to their house, I'm like, oh, y'all got animals.
Yeah.
Like when you knock on the door, you can tell they have animals. It's oof, okay.
And it's hard to sit in that place too.
Oh yeah. Ooh boy. All
Yeah.
right, let's get into this topic of the day. Talking about bad smells. Now, the topic of today. This is something again. A lot of these topics are coming from like thoughts that I have when I'm in the shower. Because I just be thinking. Like,
Shower thoughts with Caleb.
bro, that's what my mind.
So today
be
we're about to
wandering.
unpack our trauma.
Hey, real quick before we get into it, did we tell people like, comment, subscribe, and stuff?
Yeah.
Do that.
I did.
She did and I did.
I took care of it.
She did. I mean, she did. I will say I'm wearing this shirt specifically for today's episode.
Appreciate you.
Because-
All right, so the topic is trauma, and really behind the trauma, just the question I was thinking about is how do you know when you're over it? Like, how do you know when like you're over trauma? And it really comes from a story about me. Because here's what I was doing. I'll tell you the story. I was in a car with some people, and I was telling a story about my behavior and thoughts when I was like these are 20-year-old thoughts, like probably 25. I was like 9 or 10, and I was sharing how I felt about someone when I was 9 and 10 years old, when I was a child. And that person who I was talking about was in the car with me, and I'm just sharing a story from when we were children. And I was laughing because it's a funny story to me now, because it's like, wow, I really didn't like you when I was little. I thought this about you. We weren't really friends. And the person that I'm talking about, he's in the back seat. He's like, really? You feel good about yourself sharing this? I'm like, what's the problem? This story's 25 years old. Like, I'm not upset about it. I'm laughing about it. But they began to get upset that I was sharing this story, and it let me know, oh, you're not over this. Like you may be over it, but you're not over the fact that I remember it. And like he was accusing me of like not being over it. And I'm like, I'm fine about this memory. This is a memory. There's no pain attached to this memory.
Yeah.
And then maybe I was like, how do you know when you're over something? Because there are things that I've realized later on in life that I am not over. But I did not know until the situations and the environment was tweaked to a specific circumstance to bring this out, like to let me know. So it was just something that I thought I wanted to talk to you about, to sort of pick your brain about trauma and how do you know when you're over something. So I also am talking too much, but I reached out to a friend of mine.
You're not talking too much.
I asked a friend of mine, I asked a random stranger who I was just happened to be in the same room with, how do you know when you're over trauma? And he gave me a definition. I'm going to read to y'all. I'm going to read to the listeners. I almost said viewers and viewers. So trauma is a physiological response. It is a survival shortcut that our brains imprint on our bodies. It's helpful in many contexts, but it can be debilitating when our shortcuts are not adapted to our setting or situations. So I asked the question, how do you know when you're over it? A short answer is that we know we've healed when we can feel our feelings, but choose our responses.
Ooh, yeah.
A big part of healing is learning to validate and thank our minds and bodies for trying to take care of us, and also to consciously choose to go another direction in this time.
I really specifically love when he said the short answer on how you can know you've healed is that you can feel your feelings, but choose how you respond, which I think is huge. And that shows a lot. I was going to say maturity, but not necessarily, because I don't think you have to be mature to have be over something, but
Maybe emotionally mature.
Yeah, emotionally mature. And actually that made me think, like, because I was going to say, I think a lot of times you really need to talk, if you had some trauma, and I'm a whole hypocrite because I've not done therapy and I need therapy. But I think and it doesn't have to be taught, like whatever type of therapy will release that for you. I personally believe talking to someone, you can watch this video, and it has great information.
Yeah.
Or you can listen to
Read a book.
songs and read books, but you're not sitting next to someone telling them why you feel how you feel, what you went through, and being able to have someone to bounce that off of and work through that, because there are so many things I need to get into therapy for. I mean, our viewers know I'm crazy. But I mean, truly, I think books and everything are great. Self-help books are great where you can journal and you can talk. But if you can actually talk to someone in an open, safe space, sharing the whole perspective and being able to talk through that, I think that is a way to help work through some trauma.
Yeah. Well, I think therapy, as a person who's gone a few times, it gives you tools for how to navigate like past that, the feel our feelings, but choose our response. Like it helps you like recognize that those were things that you felt, but now I'm choosing to respond differently. And I feel like this is for me, like when I knew that I needed therapy was when I recognized like, I don't know how to like respond differently. Like I don't know how.
Yeah.
Like I recognize that I have this habit or this pattern that I keep doing this, but like I don't have the tool to fix it.
Yeah.
And so then it's like, oh, time to go back to therapy.
Yeah. No, I think, like I said, I'm a whole hypocrite. I've done a little bit of, like I did like a couple sessions on an app one, but I never really committed. And I know that I could really benefit from it and get the tools from it, you know?
I feel like, I mean, for people who like want to do therapy, I think that you should, one, check and see if your insurance allows for it, because that's truly a free resource. If you're in like college, they have free counseling, sometimes through your job.
Yeah.
Like they have free opportunities. And so I've taken advantage of the times when it was free. And then I recognize like now that I'm willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
But like, I would say like, if you're thinking about it, you should look and see if there's a way to get it.
Yeah. Or even like if you work at a full-time job that has an employee assistance program, that's always, you can always reach out to them and then get resources too.
No shame in therapy. We all need it.
I just like, I know this is sad because I asked a question about will you stop somebody that's already told you a story? I've already shared this story before about like when I realized that
Nope, I've heard it. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
When I realized I needed therapy was when my dad moved in.
Yeah.
And because like how my dad and I's relationship, this is wild because he watches every episode.
I know, and he shares it and everything. Like,
man, okay, let me tell you something. Before I get into this story, remember when Brinkley was on, and I asked what could you remove from the world if you could, and you said like hate, and she said like something other profound like greed, and I said grasshoppers. My dad called me and said, "How could you take that opportunity to say grass?" I was like, "Dad, that's how I feel. Don't you shame me. I hate grasshoppers."
that's truth.
But anyway,
That's
so
hilarious.
when I found out I needed therapy, because it was the relationship that I had with my dad was when he lived in like LA and I lived here, and I would go see him once or twice a year for a period of like 3 to 4 days. And even in those 3 to 4 days, I would see him for like 2 to 3 hours in those 3 to 4 days.
Yeah.
So every catch up, every visit was a great time. It was catching up. How's this going? And nothing, it was always good. And so I always thought for years the relationship we had was wonderful.
Yeah.
Until he moved back and then moved into my home. And his presence triggered this anxiety. It triggered this tenseness. It triggered, I'm getting tense just thinking about it. And I realized something in me is not okay with him being here, because I felt like I was a child again. Like I felt like I could not be my own self. I couldn't exhale when he would literally just walk into the room.
Yeah.
And so there was unresolved trauma that needed to be unpacked and needed to be resolved, because I couldn't operate. I couldn't function. Like.
Have you unpacked it?
Nah, man, I still need to go.
I thought you said you went.
I went one time.
Oh.
I went one time.
So these guys this is basically a very big hypocritical episode.
Bro, we are big hypocrites over here.
No, we're just talking about trauma though. We're not talking about healing.
But like it was the trauma, and it's so sad to like, I think for me, I'm gonna speak for myself. I'm a child that says there were aspects of my childhood that were traumatic. And I don't want my parents to be offended by that. Because if a child says my childhood was traumatic, the parents are like, I didn't treat you that bad. We're not saying that. We're just saying that there are certain things about my childhood that I don't know how to
process.
I don't have the tools to process this and be okay. The crazy thing is that like my relationship with my father is changing for the better because I have allowed boundaries to be put up to where I can, like my brother Chris said in this episode, it's not what you're willing to like put out, but it's what you're willing to allow in. So the relationship that I have with my father now, it's on my terms and it's what I'm allowing him to bring in.
Yeah.
And you know, the conversations look differently now. Like I call him, I would say pretty regularly now. That's awesome. But there are things that we don't talk about. And there are things that he wants to go get into. I'm like, you know what? I just redirect the conversation back to.
And we've talked about some of that stuff. And I'm not saying like we talked about earlier.
Y'all gonna hear it again. I don't care how many times I told the story.
But and I think that because I know that music is a thing that you're not quite as open to, and and that's a good thing. I think I'm not telling you need therapy. I know I need therapy, but with that, because I think for him, back then was different man probably than he is today, and now
that is my next question. What if the person that you've experienced trauma from? Because with me, I can, but I'm not going to. But I could if I wanted to cut my dad off and just like sever that. But I can't. I could, but I'm not going to. I don't know if I can or not. You know, honor your father or whatever. But so anyway.
We love David.
But like, so this person, my father, he's in my life with me like for the long haul, and so sadly, he does not have the tools to change his behavior. So it's not like he can say he's sorry, but like the conversations are still kind of the same in his mind, and so he's not really like changing.
Yeah.
And so it's very easy for that wound to be reopened because like it's still the same knife that he's cutting with.
Yeah. You know what my therapist told me was to hold a funeral for the expectations of like who you think that your parents should have been. And I would say that has been the most freeing because even as an adult, I'm still holding my dad or my mom to this expectation of who they should have been to me when I was a kid. So like for me, it was like a lot more of like, I didn't necessarily feel safe to express my emotions in my home. It was definitely like, and I feel like a lot of people go through this where it's like, you know, we're tough here. Like, we're not going to cry about it. Like, or if we see you crying, we're not going to like encourage you to keep crying or like talk through it and like, let's discuss it. It's like, okay, like go take care of that by yourself. But I say all that to say where my parents weren't able to show up for me in that, I feel like so much of how we act and what we do as adults, we like hold them to that of like, you failed me there, or you let me down, or you disappointed me, or you didn't show up, you didn't do this for me. And so my therapist was like, if you could hold the funeral for those expectations that you're placing on him, like maybe you can encounter him now in a new way.
Yeah, for sure. And I think
I don't know how to do that.
Well, you gotta write it down.
How did that look like for you? Because
there's also
like physically tangible. You don't know how to do that.
Yeah, no, I think it looked like for me like identifying those areas where it was like, okay, this is like where I was disappointed, or like for me it was like around like emotional neglect of just like when I would share something like, or something great would happen to me and my parents like wouldn't say anything. Like they wouldn't say like, I'm proud. It's like I knew that they were proud of me, but they were like withholding these accolades and like withholding like just saying these things. Like sometimes even like not necessarily I love you, but like just like I'm proud of you, or like you are reaching our expectations. But I feel like I guess the way that I held the funeral for those expectations was just to identify the areas and the times where I was let down. Or like, I remember this scenario where I wanted to hear and I'm proud of you and they didn't say anything. Or like, I don't know, I guess it's just identifying those scenarios or the times of those things, or just even like, I feel like as a parent, you probably feel this of like, I want to give to
Your kid letting you down? Yeah,
no.
my 8-month-old is
Where
already
you're like,
letting me
but
down.
you're trying to like make up for the fact of like how your parents did you wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're
Generational
recognizing
trauma.
in those moments, like this is the trauma that I went through, and I don't want to put you through that. So it's
I
like,
hug my son now.
so then it's that. It's like I need to hold a funeral for the expectation of my dad never holding me, or my parents like not hugging me, and like I can see now, like out of their own hurt and out of their own trauma, like they didn't have that to give.
I should say this real quick. My dad, I think
you.
he hugged me. There is a photo of my dad holding my brother, so I'm sure he held me at least once. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and
All that
another
to
I'm gonna
say-
throw that
another
photo in too. It's a very beautiful photo. Of my
another
dad holding me.
thing, kind
Very
of
beautiful.
like a funeral, but I've never done, but essentially, writing down those expectations, but then, and saying them out loud.
Yeah.
You don't have to be around people so that
Yeah.
you're releasing that, but also
Yeah.
then burning it.
Yeah.
Um,
You can actually
Like
like
with fire?
say it.
yes, to kind of like release. That's like for visualization
Yeah.
of letting it go.
I've
letting
even
it-
heard of like role playing it, like not necessarily like with like the
Oh,
other
yeah.
person, but like in
an
the
empty
mirror.
chair. Yeah.
Or like an empty chair, of
Yeah.
like, hey, like, like you disappointed me in this way. You didn't show up to this. You didn't do this. I'm choosing to let go of those areas where you failed me and you hurt me,
yeah.
and choosing to like now see you as an adult through an adult lens of like, I'm not going to hold you hostage to
Yeah.
how you let me down. And I have seen
Which
my
honestly, I
relationship
think
with my
could be
dad
very.
I'm gonna do that.
Emotion-
I'm gonna write
yeah.
it down. I'm gonna do some writing. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get me a good pen
Yeah.
and I'm gonna write some stuff down.
And I think the thing is it's a completely safe space because in that moment you are by yourself, but you are, you have an empty chair and you're saying it to the person as if they're right there, so you can say like everything. I'm saying this
I
again.
have
I've
real
not done
breakthrough
it,
and just
but-
like cry.
Yeah, I was gonna say breakdown. I would imagine. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I can just. I'm
You're just
thinking
like,
I would
dang.
just cry.
Like I just choose to let it go though.
Yeah. You have to. You have to be able to let it go. And generational trauma, I think it's hard because our parents did not have the tools and resources or the knowledge about like actions
Yeah.
or behaviors that we do today.
And
Every
therapy was
generation
taboo.
changes. Yeah. And they didn't talk about it much. And so they're like, I don't hold blame for any of my childhood. Well, there is my dad, my like biological dad. But that's something I need to like
Yeah.
work through and have a conversation
Yeah.
with him. But like specifically with my mom, I am a mama's boy.
That'll be what we do. That'll be the real trip where we actually go right down and like bonfire our stuff.
Yeah.
We can go to TJ Maxx first or wherever you said it, and then we can go get a bonfire real quick.
Truly, honestly, that actually might help me with my dad a little bit.
Bet.
Your
A lot
biological
of it.
father.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do.
Let me go back to mom. So I'm a mama's boy. Always have been. I love my mom, and I think my mom was the best mom because she was always there for me, gave me whatever
Yeah.
I needed. But no one in this world is perfect. And I think I know that I am going to cause my kids some hurt and trauma that they'll have to work through.
Yeah.
And I want to allow them safe spaces for that.
Yeah.
But I appreciate what you said earlier because a lot of times when you bring up like, or you'll say trauma from my childhood, your parents sometimes are offended. They're like, what do you mean? What did I do? And it's not necessarily something they did because sometimes, a lot of times, it was out of their control. It was out of
100%.
Like they weren't even there when some of these things happened, and it's stuff that they would never, stuff like that. But it also like generational trauma happens over time, and I think our generation is realizing that that's become such a pattern.
Yeah.
Because you are who you are because of your parents. You learn your habits, you learn your traits from your parents, right?
You're just your familial structure.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean they're bad
environment.
habits.
Yeah.
But there are things maybe I want to change for my kids, and it doesn't mean anything was wrong, with my parents or anything.
Well, it
well,
does.
my mom. I like to say my mom, and I
Yeah.
would specifically say Ron too. But I know when I've told my mom that I need to go to therapy.
Yeah.
Things from childhood. She'll say like, "I'm sorry if I ever did anything to hurt you," and again, when I say that, I'm not, it's nothing, it's not anything that you did specifically. I mean,
There are things
there
though,
are
and I think though
things.
that's where it has to become normalized. I would say like I would give kudos to my mom. She has really like done a good job of hearing me say the hard things of ways that she has hurt me, and being like, I see where that would hurt you, and I'm sorry. Because there's like my mom is a really great mom. Like she's done really great things for me my entire life. Very similar to how you're saying, but like there still are areas where her actions. She didn't realize her actions were hurting me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's something about being tough enough to like hear somebody say that. That's like adults' maturity, right? Like you can say to me like my actions are hurting you, and maybe I have a justification or I've got an excuse for like why I did what I did, and I'm choosing like not to say those things. Instead, I'm just choosing to say like I'm sorry.
Yeah. And also when we came into their lives, there was a whole chunk of their lives we missed. A whole lot of trauma that they went through that they never processed, and still maybe may have not processed today.
Yeah.
And so I would be remiss to just like, if I was to say, well, you did this, to not even think like the things that they had gone through. Like I know some stuff, but I know there is tons I don't know.
Well, I think that's where you have to stick to how it's your experience.
Yeah.
This is how this affected me.
Yeah.
Rather like this is what you did, and this is like
the blaming. And I think actually
statements.
Your brother mentioned that, I want to say, on one of his episodes,
this
about
is how I feel.
Kind of
how this made me
the
feel.
wording of it, saying it made me feel like this, instead of
this is
you
what
did this, and
because they can't or they shouldn't invalidate your feelings.
Which
However,
one is
they
Chris
would
coming back?
Be quick to justify their
Never.
actions.
I completely Sorry, that was really rude of me because I did not mean to cut you.
Okay.
That was a really good point. That was my ADD. Please forgive me. I am getting cut out.
Chris can come back in a couple weeks. He'll be in town soon.
Yeah.
That's exciting. I liked his episode.
Have you ever met his brother?
Nope, but I liked his episode.
Yeah.
He's
Chris
a deep
is
thinker.
Chris is awesome. Shout out to One Zenith in LA.
Wellness District LA is Chris's company.
Correct.
Cut him again.
But what is his other company that he's associated with?
Wellness District LA.
Shout out to Wellness District LA. I was specifically saying One Zenith because that is where we went when we were in LA, and Chris took us on a tour and let us try out some of the different alternative therapies, which was really, really cool. Mm-hmm. So that's where I was.
I really loved that episode.
Thank you. It was really all Chris.
Fun fact, that was the only one she watched.
That's crazy.
True.
Fully, I will say.
So this is actually a question from our producer. What role does forgiveness play in overcoming trauma from a faith perspective? Because we're all people of faith.
True.
Don't play, Caleb. I see that look.
I don't look. Here's the thing. I don't know, because I can say to anybody. Because remember when I was asking? Gosh, remember? I can't. Ugh. When I was, I think the last episode, I was like, "How can someone hurt your feelings?" Mm-hmm. Was that this episode or the last one?
Last episode, last week.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know how to forgive somebody. Maybe, but like I can say I forgive you, but I don't know how that physically feels in my body. I don't know what that looks like. But I can say I forgive you.
I think you already said it in this episode.
Or when there's no longer pain attached to the memory.
What that person had said, when you can feel your feelings but choose your response. And I say that from me because I have said
that's
before,
forgiveness.
Yeah, I have said.
Wait, so what is it again? When you can feel the feelings,
the feelings but choose your response.
I know that this is how you hurt me, but I choose to love you anyways.
Yeah.
Forgiveness.
Because I have said, and I remember it was when I lived in the trailer with my brother, and I was having a moment. I was crying or whatever, I don't know. But I released it and I said, I forgive, I said out loud, I forgive you, Dad. And I truly felt in that moment like I forgave him. Yeah. But I do know that also, I don't think forgiveness can truly happen sometimes until you've healed from that situation.
Well, I feel like you can continue to forgive someone.
Yeah, because
It's like it's not necessarily linear. Is that the word?
but the hurt like triggers me,
Yeah.
and it's almost like you're pulling receipts in your own
process.
mind, but it's something that brings me immediately back to that
Yeah.
hurt and that anger and the questions, you know, and I that's part of me needing to step up to my dad and saying, "Hey, I want to know this," because I also know, and because I give grace, I also know my dad went through a really rough childhood.
Yeah.
I don't know what all that entailed,
Yeah.
but I know that the McCalls have been known from a long line of alcoholics.
Yeah.
And I know that there's a lot of stuff that I do know about that he's went through that I couldn't imagine how I would process that. But it is something for me, especially now that I'm a parent, because I felt and I still feel abandoned by my dad.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the best way to say how that I feel. And so I don't know if I can ever get over that until I hear. I always want to. I guess I want to hear. And I said this with the sorries. You know, I don't think you'll ever get the sorries you truly want in this world, but you'll never maybe also get the explanations, because I kind of want to know, like, why did you choose some of these things over me, or why was I not important enough, or why, you know, why did you choose to go so long without seeing me, or why was it always about you guys, you know,
Yeah.
your relationship with my mom and not your relationship with me.
You know, something interesting that in therapy that I'm currently discussing is like, but the other question on the other side of that is like, why are you attaching your worth to like something that's physically happening?
Yeah.
And there's like a whole like depth to that of like, why are you making this action? So like I can specifically remember like when my dad moved to Texas, like I didn't realize this until it got brought up again. And then I realized like, oh shoot, like this is where I felt abandoned.
Yeah.
Like when he moved with his other family, when he got married to Texas for like a year or so. And it was like in my adolescent years, it was just like realizing like I felt abandoned in that moment. And I took his moving there. For him, it was a better, like he needed to get away from some things that were here. But I took that and I was like, you're not enough. You're not enough of a reason to stay or to want to stay or.
Yeah.
And so then it was like a worth thing of, well, how do I make myself enough that he would want to like be here with us in our lives? And I think that there's a separation there.
And I think that can also carry into your other relationships.
100%.
Or because I know.
That's why I'm in therapy.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because I think a lot of my insecurity and struggles, some of them become from not feeling enough, especially when it's supposed to be the person who wants, you know,
Yeah.
wholeheartedly cares about
Yeah.
you. And obviously, when I'm a kid, I don't understand what that looks like. But now, when I'm an adult, especially having children of my own, like,
Yeah.
I see, like, I even question things more now.
The trauma that you talked about with your dad leaving and how you then, maybe now, maybe, but then you attached your worth to him leaving and you feeling abandoned. We were talking about friends in the last episode, and we talked about the pain of losing a friend. Do you kind of have those same feelings when like a friend like either walks out of your life where it's like, wow, I wasn't enough to keep that friend around, or is it different?
Yeah. No, I think that it can be similar. And I think I would say, well, I know we were talking about this, like where your trauma, man, it was the part where we were talking about the trauma basically like leading your actions. And like, though it protected you in one space, it doesn't protect you anymore. And so where in that moment, you know, of like,
Was it the forgiveness and like having to re-forgive?
no, not exactly. So like in the moment where like my dad like left and like went to Texas, like I told myself like, you know, basically I had to toughen myself up to like get through that traumatic experience. Yeah. And so I like started the narrative for myself of like,
When you were
basically,
young.
yes, like you shouldn't trust people, or like you shouldn't, like they're going to abandon you. They're going to leave you.
Yeah.
Never give yourself like the opportunity to feel this pain again. And so I think in that moment that taught me like this response that I didn't realize, like in friendships, where maybe I didn't let people get as close to me as I could have experienced a depth of a relationship, out of that trauma response of like, I've got to protect myself. Like at the end of the day, this person could leave me, or this person is likely to leave me. And the little girl is like, you will never let that happen again. And so I feel like I don't know. I am currently like walking through that with my counselor of like, how do I let go of this trauma that maybe kept me from dying? I don't know. But you know, like that feeling of like, this is like the worst thing that could ever happen to me. It protected me in some way here, but now is holding me back from this new thing.
From future like things.
But it does, I think that is like, it does hurt probably deeper than most when people leave my life, because I'm like, abandoned.
And it makes me think kind of what you had said, the therapist you did go to one time had told you.
That one session you had that one time.
But it's true, because I think for me, like, I feel that way, but how did she phrase it?
How she phrased it was, little Caleb is still like there, and he needs to feel like, basically, adult Caleb recognizes what's going on. But the problem is that little Caleb's voice was so loud, and he needs to be told, "You're okay. I got you." Because to give context, when my father would like walk into a room, the anxiety, the anger would like, flare up like this. And I'm like, what do you want? What's going on? Like I would lash out at him, and he didn't even, he wanted some eggs. And he wanted to be a part of the community. He like literally like, my father would literally physically like tiptoe into the living room or to the kitchen to get water. And I'm like, what do you want? What are you doing in here? And it was my anxiety flashing out at him, but it was because I was trying to protect little 10-year-old Caleb from getting like picked on or picked at or critiqued and criticized. So like I was trying to like beat him to the punch. Like, no, you're not going to talk to me crazy anymore. I pay taxes now.
Right. Well, and I mean, I think also having safe people in your life to be able to help you recognize some of those things. I know you talked about how your wife even said, "Hey, you're not okay."
Sure wasn't.
And I think that's,
wasn't. Show ain't. I still ain't okay. Like, I ain't fixed this.
Yeah, and I would. So I think it's great to have a safe person. Obviously, a spouse should be able to provide
Again,
that.
I only went to therapy once. I'm not healed.
We trying to get him back. But I think even outside of parents, there's so much trauma that can happen in your childhood, from school, from like lots of different things. Like for me specifically, I know I was bullied in school, and I know nowadays when people say they're bullied, they're like, "Oh yeah, everyone was bullied." Like, but I mean, I was bullied.
Yeah.
I know that sounds weird. I was bullied.
You were hurt.
But there's a lot I need to unpack from that, and there's a lot that affected me. But I will also say I would never change it. Because people always would ask, like, would you go back and change this? I wouldn't change anything, because
it shaped you in a way.
It has shaped me to who I am today, to care for others, to never, like, when I could see my worst enemy crying, and I hate this sometimes. They could start crying, and I would instantly want to just hug them and make them feel better.
Yeah.
You better than me.
Because I don't like to see people hurt, because I know what it's like. I know what it's like to, be picked on and all this stuff, and feel that hurt and shame. Like, not only did my dad leave and you're not enough, but now these people tell me I'm not enough, and that's why I'm also a huge advocate for suicide awareness. And I know that's a heavy thing to bring on, but I think it is something that truly needs more advocates and advocacy, because what's happening is you're getting all this stuff compiled, and when you aren't given the resources, people then, and I'm not saying this is why it happens, but I think things happen to you even when things your parents don't know about, that you probably will never tell them, to save them from hurt and stuff like that. But
I ain't saving my parents from hurt.
Well, that's true.
Shout out mom and dad. You're going to get it. I mean,
watch out for her.
I mean, I feel like it's like if you want to heal.
So bring popcorn to your cookout.
Yeah. I mean, no, I'm not going to like bring it at the cookout, but like, I feel like if you want to heal, you have to be honest. And that is probably what therapy will teach you or can teach you is like, stop. And it's like, it's not your job. And that's also the problem is like, you now feel like you need to protect your parents from the things that you felt as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
And you don't want to hurt their feelings. And so you're not going to like attack them.
Yeah.
But I think that that's like where it's like you can express how it made you feel and move forward.
Yeah. And I also think
it's not your job
advocating
to protect them.
for your parents to not seek therapy, but talk, you know.
Yeah, my parents are in therapy.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun?
No, I love it.
They're
I'm
unpacking
jealous.
their trauma.
Yeah, I think it's
and including
huge
me in the conversation.
because then they can also see like the bigger picture of it.
Yeah.
Because when that generation, therapy just seems like, why would you go talk to someone about it? You kind of just shove it under a rug and you go on. But then you don't realize whenever you start to lift the rug up a little bit, stuff comes piling out and then you start to throw it out. And so you find yourself throwing it back on people sometimes. And really, that's just something, unresolved trauma, that if you could work through, I'm not saying if you could work that, you'd be better. No. I'm saying, but if you would work through that, I think you would feel better. And you would be able to have better emotional maturity and emotional intelligence.
Amen.
I feel like something I was thinking about as you're talking is we're talking about like forgiveness and just like the biblical truth around, I don't know, just like saying you're sorry or just finding forgiveness in your heart. I feel like something that really helped me before my parents were in therapy, but I recognize like I've got hurt in my heart and I need to forgive and I need to let go. I got this phrase, I guess from the Lord really, of like loving from fulfillment and not for it. So like basically when you go to your parent to like have this conversation of like, this is where I've been hurt, I'm not looking for the I'm sorry or like you to now fill my cup because I'm saying, you know, this is the hurt stuff. It's like I've already gone to the Father. I've already gone to God and I've asked him to fill me in this area where I am so hurt and so broken. And that is the beauty of like the gospel of like just him filling you in those things. And then you can go to that relationship with whoever's hurt you and like identify that this is how this has affected me. And I would even say identify the part that you played in it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yes, I was hurt by this situation and I treated you and my stepmom terribly
and I think
for all of my adolescence.
Yeah.
Out of a place of I was hurt.
Yeah.
And I literally, like the first time I had that conversation with my dad, I didn't expect him to say sorry and he didn't say sorry. And I had already come to it from a place of I'm already fulfilled by Christ.
Yeah.
So now I don't need you to give me that.
Yeah. And
I just wanted to let you know.
And I think if you're having that conversation with them, you're at a point where you're honestly just releasing that.
Yep.
It's not about trying to rehash anything.
Nope.
You just kind of want to release it and then allow yourself to move on from that as well. And honestly, that's best for them and you.
Yeah.
So what's your final thoughts, Caleb?
Y'all are wildly beautiful.
Thanks. I did my hair today.
I was not thinking about your look.
Your heart.
I know. I'm just kidding. Anyways, weekly segment.
I just want to go write a letter to my dad.
He's like, I just want to go cry a little bit.
I ain't about to go cry.
No,
honestly,
truly, I think
I probably do. I don't know.
Yeah.
When was the last time I cried? Didn't I tell you about the last time I cried?
Yeah.
it's been a while, hasn't it?
It's been a minute.
But I mean, truly, I think that
I got a book for you.
I thought about it.
When was the last time? I was talking to somebody about the last time I cried. I don't remember. I really don't know the last
your
time I
wedding
cried.
day.
Nah, birth of my son, 8 months ago. Birth of my son. That's when
right.
that was the last time I cried.
That's right.
Before that, it was years.
Yeah.
You know, your body holds that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yes, your body keeps the score. It's a wonderful book.
Yeah, but it does for real.
I'm sure it does.
This is gonna be depressing, but do you want to know the last time I cried?
Didn't you tell me it was like a couple weeks ago?
It was, and it was so good for me because I remember speaking of Chris, after his episode, he had talked about how he went to sound somatics and sound therapy, and that like he got in the car and he wept for 3 hours, and so instantly I was like, I need to go to sound therapy so I can cry for 3 hours. Of course, because I'm like, if it worked for him, it's worked for me. Which I did go to sound therapy, loved it. I fell asleep, didn't even know I fell asleep. It was great. But
Therapy.
yeah, but
Just put him right to sleep. You take a good nap.
yeah, and then
$300
it was
later.
actually Father's Day that I cried. Father's Day hit me really hard this year, naturally, obviously, because I lost Ron this year. But I had gotten a massage, had a great day and everything. May have been the day after, but Brooklyn started to forget Ron. And I still am not ready for that. I am not ready for that because I knew Boston would not remember Ron as much. But Brooklyn, I had showed her a picture. Julie had found all these pictures from when Ron had come help us move a sofa out of our house. And I was showing Brooklyn. She's like, Brooklyn, 'cause she loves looking at pictures with her in it. And she's like, Brooklyn. And then she said, who's that? And I wasn't ready for that. And so, I told her Papa Ron, and then she would remember and everything. But it took her a second. And that's when I realized that I think I knew ultimately she would never always remember, because she's so young, all the great memories. But to know how much she loved her Papa Ron, and then to start to forget that, I was not ready for that as a parent who's lost a parent.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And so I wept, which was very releasing and very therapeutic because I needed that cry.
Yeah.
But I cried, and honestly, for the next few days, there were multiple points where I cried. Haven't cried since, but
I feel like that's why the Lord let me be an entrepreneur.
yeah.
I just have some mornings.
Yeah,
where
way
I
to
just
spin this back
cry.
to your
Yeah.
business. What are you doing? Where do you get off?
I'm
Like,
just saying that, like, I sometimes, and it really sucks because I really don't love to cry because I feel like it takes a lot of energy from your day. But there will be times in the morning where I'm just like, I feel like I just need to cry.
I love a good cry.
I'm starting to allow myself to have those emotions.
You gotta admit, like
Yeah,
when
we
you
need to get
cry,
in this book. I
you
got
feel,
one for
it
'em.
releases something where you're like,
Again, the last time I cried was at the birth of my son.
Which was like out of joy.
That was
listen,
joy.
I feel like if I
So
go
he doesn't
I have
allow.
not cried
Little
out of
Caleb
pain.
says you better hold those feelings
I have
in.
not cried out of pain or like loss or like.
if I go write a letter to my dad and I sit across from a chair, no one's around, no one can hear me, and I can say the words how I want to say them, I know I'm gonna cry.
Right, that's why I want to do it. I'm gonna see what I can bring out of myself.
Yeah.
Can we get to the weekly segment?
Yeah. Hey, what's it called, Kayla?
That's crazy.
That
I
was
was so mad. She ain't even. Mikaela has not been here long enough to get a segment named after her. That's not. We're not doing
I'm
this.
not influential, y'all know.
So
you know?
No.
weekly segment. You can let us know how you feel. I still.
It's not called That's
That's how you
Crazy.
feel?
I'm not
That's
doing
crazy.
this.
You already like said it so many times. Julia's saying it
I'm
now.
not.
Like, we're all on
I'm not
board.
here for it.
What do you actually? Why don't we let our guests go first?
Yeah, let's
you
go,
got
let's
something
get it.
crazy to talk about this week, or any praises. I mean, you can shout out me, Caleb.
You sent me a text message of a bunch of cool things. I was like, oh, I hope you get into one of these.
Is this a cool thing? I mean, okay, so I do, like, a lot of things bother me, but like I try to really hold it in.
This is the floor to let them out.
You're right. So, I mean, like dressing rooms, I don't understand why they've decreased. Have they decreased in size, or have I gotten bigger?
We're not about to do that.
That's a thing though, right? I feel like there's no space. One, I don't know what that little chair is in the corner.
Right.
Like, who sits on it? What do
Yeah.
you put, like, I guess you just place your bag there maybe.
I have been in some little bitty dressing rooms.
I'm like,
but
what is
usually-
this?
Usually mine are like, this is. I got plenty of room. I can do a
'cause you go to-
cartwheel in here.
That's because you go to the handicap one. You steal it from.
That's crazy, right?
Which honestly,
That's
I was gonna
crazy.
say. I was gonna
He's
say
stealing from handicap.
there are
people.
times that I'll go to the bigger one.
Yeah, I look for it, but I didn't find it at the Nordstrom Rack the other day, and I was like, why is this so little? Like,
Yeah, that's true. I remember during COVID when they shut dressing rooms down. It was.
I would try out things in the
Kohl's.
store.
Yeah, but I mean, I had pants one time. I needed to try on.
You gotta wear like enough undergarments to just really take some things off.
I should have.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
You gotta wear like a wife beater and some like some little shorts.
I mean, I am going to Independence
I will
Kohl's.
only
So.
try. Like the only thing I'm putting on in the store is like a.
Well, during
hoodie.
COVID, I really would do that because I was like, I want to try this on, and you're not going to stop me.
Yeah.
So I was undressing in the stores. That was the time to be alive. If you were there for it,
Yeah. My kids weren't.
they
Well,
probably
actually,
got
they were.
like footage or something.
Hey, you know what? Did your parents ever like make you like get undressed like in the middle of like a Kmart to like try on some pants?
No.
My mom did. Take your shirt off. I'm like, we outside. She's like, get your shirt off. Put the
I
shirt
mean,
off.
trying the shirt on, but typically it would be over what we already had.
Nah, I remember having to like take pants off. She didn't care. She was like,
Take
try
your
these,
shirt off.
Try these Husky Boys 8 on, like
No.
Right in the middle of the story is
right
wild.
in the middle of the Kmart.
That's
I
crazy.
was wondering why you randomly just start changing at church in the middle of a service and everything. It just seems weird to me that you do that.
Who does that? Don't do that to me.
That's so funny.
Hey, no lie though, I did get changed in your kitchen again.
That's okay.
I was in there with my pants just.
I mean,
pants
that's
off.
the only room we have cameras, so it's fine.
That's what's
I'm
up.
kidding. No,
You know what? Hey, post it. I don't care. I ain't ashamed.
Screenshot.
It is
that
what
would
it
be
is.
that'd be trifling.
My little take this week. So, black barbershops.
What do you have on Black Barbershop?
I cannot stand the black barbershop.
Why?
I feel like it's like a whole experience.
That right? That's like
it is an
Yes.
experience, and I am not here for it.
I can't. Like I've not been to one, but I want to go one.
right.
You don't want to go to one. You don't have enough time in the day. Here's the thing about black barbershops.
I will say
Your
yes.
average, the typical, the standard black barbershop is you gonna be there for like 4 to 6 hours waiting on a haircut that takes 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes.
'Cause they're
I'm not here for it. Cause like cause a lot of them still like as a walk-ins only. So when you walk in, the whole room is seated with dudes that just got next, and you just never know like, okay, when. I don't know who
I got next.
And so like there'll be a barber like, hey, I got you, big homie. I'm like, okay, cool. He has me, but he has 8 people that he's still like. It makes me so mad. And then there are other barbershops where you can book an appointment. Perfect. That's beautiful. But
Are those also black owned?
black owned, and so I'm like, okay,
I be
I'll
getting booted.
I'll book a
Or like,
noon
oh, you're gonna have
appointment.
to wait like 15 to 20 minutes.
I'll book a noon appointment and I
wanna
show
wait.
up at like
Yeah.
12 o'clock,
Yeah.
12:01, 11:58. But if Joe Schmo walks in at 11:59, he just gets to have my barber's seat because he's like, hey man, you know, he came in. I had an appointment.
I know
Oh,
how
that's
you are
wild.
with time. Were you on time?
Don't you? Yes.
He said, "Don't you."
Man, it makes me so mad. Like, and so there's a barbershop in Overland Park, Kansas. I'm not gonna say their name because it's a very, very famous one. They cut Chiefs players, Royals players.
Pla? Pla?
Never heard of that one. But
No, that's abbreviations. That's like pla.
don't interrupt me next time I'm talking.
Think of the
Stop it. Anyway, so I would still
I just
make an
snorted.
appointment,
I hope you got that
and
in
it
the
would
mic.
still be like 40 to 50 minutes before I actually got into the chair. I hate you. But I say all I have to say, my current barber is not like that at all. If I got a 1 o'clock appointment, I'm in this chair between 1 o'clock and 1:05.
Where do you go?
He's one dude. It's not a shop. He's one dude. His name is Justin. And it's that barber guy. I want a segment for him. I want his thing right here because he is.
But
dope.
you know, if you get more people to go to him, then maybe you'll lose your 1 o'clock spot.
You
No.
know-
I always gotta book it whenever I got time. But like, I never have to wait more than 5
We
minutes.
should do an episode where we're getting our hair done, but just no, I'm kidding. That's.
No, we can go to him.
But I meant like we do an episode while we're getting our hair. And I don't know.
It's a 20-minute cut. He takes 20 minutes to cut my hair. Beautiful. I'm in and out. I'm gone. I love it.
Yeah.
I will never abandon him.
Oh my gosh. Praise
I
God.
love that barber. He is like my favorite person in the world because he
I-
respects my time.
I need
That
to
is
find
beautiful.
a barber because I go to all random places, and the last person that
can
cut
tell.
my
No, I'm
hair,
just-
the last person that cut my hair really messed
Were
it
they
up.
in a rush?
No, they had.
I'm just kidding.
There was.
Have you not seen those things? Like it's like a trend, like where
No.
you like it's supposed to be like a woman asking their like spouse or just like a guy like, oh, you got your hair cut. Were they in a rush?
Oh no, I had not.
That's the most
funny.
disrespectful
That's
thing in the
crazy.
world.
Were they in a rush? Oh,
That's so
did
disrespectful.
you go lower this time?
Well, and that's the thing. I went
That's so
to a
disrespectful.
place that I
disrespectful.
shouldn't have gone, but this lady hadn't cut my hair before, and then she was like, "Your notes confused me in the computer because I got a whole bunch of stuff. But why do you want it?" So I told her, and then she asked about my cowlick in the back. And
Oh yeah, right. I think
Yeah.
were you telling me this?
yeah, and so normally I have this thing with my hair the way it styles, where if it goes too long, people will call it looks like a duck butt, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I cut the duck butt off." I know that sounds. That's what I was told, and now I call it duck butt because it's anyways.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I was like, "Oh yeah, they monitor that." She's straight. Whoosh. My hair has been so hard to fix and get like.
She cut your duck butt.
She cut my duck butt.
Straight up.
Too far. She hit some nerves up there. Anyways,
Nerves is wild.
again, this is the last time I'll repeat something, and it's not
If
a repeat.
If you say traffic one more time.
If you dare say traffic.
It's not traffic.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
What is it though? Before you say it,
So it is shopping at Walmart, but specifically, it could be any store.
Between
be-
Walmart and traffic, huh?
Yeah. Well, listen.
You're
That's
caught
where he's at
somewhere
the-
in between.
That's where he's at the most. He's either in Walmart, or he's on his way to Walmart, and he's in traffic on his way to Walmart.
and I'm angry about all of it.
Yeah.
No,
What
I
you got
hate-
to say?
That's
First
crazy.
off, I hate
Release
people that just take their sweet time. Just
We
like
said this before.
Oh, we did.
You're cutting him off. Hey, you said that before.
Yeah, big dog. We have.
After you said you don't do that.
I don't. I'm sorry.
But I don't want to hear it again, brother.
No, but like,
Go for
and
it.
also that thing that ticked me off last week was if you are if you're going down the main aisles, do not take up the whole aisle. No, and I'm talking about like this person had a cart, and then instead of like the couple walking together, they're walking like 5 feet away from each other, nowhere to go,
They got
and
issues.
on top of that, stopping at every little
This is why you
thing,
just don't go to Walmart.
blocking everyone.
This is a
I know.
Walmart
You know what?
problem.
Laura Brumbaugh said it on the episode. One of the episodes we talked about. This is why I do Walmart delivery, which we used to. And Walmart, count your days. You ain't got 24/7 Walmart. You ain't got Apple Pay.
Gouge days.
People don't know how to get out the way.
Where else are you gonna go?
Target. I'll just dress up every time. Do you know, funny fact, actually in California, you can speak to this too, but this is what I recognized and realized. Walmart isn't really a thing out there.
Yeah, I don't ever
so
think about a Walmart.
There are Walmarts, but
I don't.
as people will tell you, like, it's very, like, you don't really go to the Walmarts. And I went to
I'm
a
above
Walmart
it,
in
but
California. It was a little rough.
I feel like the Walmarts here in the city. I mean, I guess you live on the outskirts, but the city Walmarts are.
Yeah, especially, I will say the one by our church. That's a rough one.
That's my favorite one.
I don't like to go to Walmart.
Yeah, I need to quit. But, you know. All right, Caleb, what you got left?
I've already said my piece. I'm ready for the show to be done.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, guys, thanks for watching. Mikaela, thanks for hanging out with us again.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming
It's always
back.
a pleasure, and we look forward to next time. Maybe we'll talk to.
with our guest, Caleb.
Anyways, thank you again for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, review. Send a review. Also, don't forget you can send in fan mail through our Buzzsprout link. So
Yeah, send a
Mahogany
comment if you want like
teakwood.
more of Mikaela or less of Mikaela. Like,
ooh,
I'm gonna let all
The
my friends,
fans
all
will
my friends,
vote.
all my friends, get in the chat, enter the chat.
so all right. Anyways, I gotta go fix my duck butt. So I'll see y'all later.
Got your duck butt.